Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from our sponsor. The Daily Compliance News for January 28, 2023, the Non-Competes Hurt Healthcare Edition. And now it's been revealed that non-compete agreements hurt healthcare because it keeps doctors from delivering medical services and unreasonably restricts them because up to 40% of physicians employed by hospitals are required to sign them. Of course, hospitals aren't, but you can quickly see the problem. So as the fight against non-competes increases, it is now becoming clear how much damage they are doing to the economy. Next up from Reuters, the former Chief Justice of the Venezuelan Supreme Court has been indicted in the United States for money laundering. Mikhail Moreno was indicted on money laundering charges related to bribe payments he received in exchange for influencing court decisions. He took more than $10 million and used those funds to purchase real estate in Miami, Tuscany, in Italy, and other locations. He was replaced in 2022, but even today, he retains a position on the court. Next up from the Financial Times, a really interesting article entitled "Advocates for Friendshoring Have Not Reckoned with Digital Trade," and determining whether bytes originated in a friendly country is painstaking work. Now, this relates, of course, to supply chains, but I found this to have huge implications on trade and economic sanctions and even anti-corruption and AML. So do you know where your digital trade is either originating or going through? Well, what happens if somehow it's going through a server in Russia, Iran? I don't think it would be North Korea, but you can quickly see if you don't know where your bytes are originating, you may be in a very, very big world of trouble going forward. And our final story is the U.S. Senate is becoming increasingly concerned about the corruption in Ukraine and the billions that are flowing into the country from the United States to facilitate Ukraine's defense of Russia's invasion. This is going to be a huge story going forward, and you can bet the pro-Russian magma hat-wearing idiot faction of the GOP will hammer this going forward. They want Russia to be able to invade whoever they want with impunity and are going to use this story to try to cut off aid to Ukraine. So it's going to be in the papers and we're going to be following it. But it's a story that everyone should be cognizant of. If you're doing business in Ukraine, you need to be prepared. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.